We know that when they're at their youngest, they're at their most vulnerable, and current advice is that babies are safer if they sleep alone for the first 8 weeks. But from today, there's new thinking which goes beyond newborns. Sleeping babies should be separate from parents until they're 1.
You never get over it at all. It's something you just learn to live with.
Louise only knew her son Ellis for a few days. On the evening of his 4th night at home, Louise did what she thought was normal.
Brought him into our bed to feed him. I was breastfeeding at the time, and I was a new mum. I was tired. These things happen. I fell asleep, woke up in the morning, and he was dead in my arms.
Doctors said Ellis hadn't suffocated. He'd simply died in his sleep. Every year in England and Wales, nearly 250 babies die unexpectedly in their sleep. Doctors call it sudden infant death syndrome. No one's certain what causes it, but proposed new guidelines say co-sleeping in a bed or a chair is a risk. It's thought that risk increases in premature babies when parents smoke, drink or take drugs.
Cot death is very rare, but when it occurs, it is catastrophic for the family. And so it's right for them to know what they can do to reduce the risk. But we don't want that to get in the way of normal bonding practices.
So what did you choose to do in their first year?
I co-slept with my baby from when he was about 3 months up until 9 months.
We wanted her to get used to basically sleeping by herself.
We didn't want to have to go through that difficult separation a couple of months later once the kids were used to sleeping with us.
Sudden infant death syndrome, or cot death, has been cut by 90% in 10 years. That was down to one piece of advice: keep babies on their backs. But even campaigners say there's a limit to how careful you can be.
We don't want to turn into a nation where we're telling our parents, frankly, the only way to keep your child safe is to have them sleep in a sort of scientifically monitored incubator for a year. That would result in a lot of very unhappy babies and unhappy parents. We've got to be realistic about the advice that we give parents so that they can take a really informed decision.
New parents have to wade through lots of advice, but doctors say the important bit is easy. The safest sleeping position is on their back, in their cot, and on their own. Dominic Reynolds, 5 News.